Finding Her Soft Side by Reading in Solitude. Chapter 1. Heartache. Andou sat beside you at dinner and gripped her skirt. "So, you two are good friends?" you asked Oshida as the three of you sat together at a local ramen shop. The two girls had just won their Senshado match, and you figured you'd treat them both to something to eat. You had befriended both, but this was the first time that all three of you had hung out together. "Yeah, you could say that," said Oshida with a smile as she leaned onto her hand. Andou grit her teeth but said nothing. "Are you all right, Andou?" you asked, noticing her bitter face. She'd been acting rather strange all throughout dinner. "Huh? Oh, yeah," she said as she turned her face to you. It was clear that something was on her mind, but neither you nor Oshida quite knew what. "You sure? You look a bit upset," said Oshida, raising her eyebrow. "I'm fine," mumbled Andou as she turned down to her food and stirred it. "Well, all right then," you answered, frowning at your friend's discomfort. "So anyway," said Oshida, moving topics, "did you see? We won our match in a landslide today against St. Gloriana." "Really?" you asked her, as, in spite of you watching, you hadn't really been keeping score. Instead, your eyes were focused on a certain someone's tank. "Uh-huh. Marie and I managed to pin this crusader and take it out from both sides. You should have seen the look on their faces when we knocked them out." "Yeah, they were almost as good as yours when your tank got taken out a second after that happened," shot Andou, smirking as she did so. "Oh, well, I'm sorry. Not all of us like to snipe from afar where no one will ever bother us. Something that you did this match," replied Oshida. "It's called acting strategically. Maybe you should try it sometime," replied Andou sarcastically. "Oh, is that so? Maybe I'll read a book about it. I know that reading isn't something you examination students can do so easily," said Oshida, turning her nose up to Andou. "You and your escalator class are always blabbing on and on about grades. There's more to life, you know, like learning to stop living like such spoiled brats," yelled Andou. The whole ramen shop was starting to look at the two yelling. You started. "Oh, boo-hoo, keep crying," yelled back Oshida. "I'm not like you, always crying to Marie. 'Oh, Miss Marie, Miss Marie, can I please suckle your teat? I'm so helpless I can't do anything without you,'" mocked Andou. "At least Marie and I have something on our chests, unlike you, you flat-chested idiot. I bet he would rather be with me than you," yelled Oshida, standing up at the table and pointing at you. Andou gasped, her whole face dropping at Oshida's words. Oshida's face followed as she realized that she had gone too far. Tears formed at the edges of Andou's eyes as she sat still for a moment before getting up quickly and running out of the shop. "Andou, wait!" cried Oshida. I'm sorry. I didn't mean that." It was too late, however, as Andou had already left the shop. "What the hell, Oshida?" you yelled. "I mean, for one, why would you say something like that to your friend? But two, what did you mean by that comment about you and I?" I began Oshida, grabbing her arm. "It just slipped out." Her head hung low as she sat back down at her seat. You sighed and looked around. The whole shop was watching, though most turned around quickly when you met their eyes and tried to hide the fact. It was quiet, and only a few hushed whispers from around the room could be heard. "Look," you began as you tried to think of something, but could think of nothing. "I don't know what to tell you. I need to go check on Andou." You walked to the front desk and asked for 2 takeout bowls to take yours and Andou's food back to her place, where you hoped you would find her. I'll come with you. Please, I want to apologize," said Oshida. "No," you replied, placing a hand on Oshida's shoulder. "I mean, I'm sure that you mean well, but I think that it's best if I try to calm her down before you try to approach her. I'll talk to you later. I'll call you, let you know if she's ready." "Okay," whispered Oshida. "I guess I'll see you in class tomorrow. And Maybe I'll see her at practice. Yeah, you said as you left the shop and walked in the direction of Andou's apartment. It was already getting dark when you arrived at her place. It was a small apartment over a bakery. Part of the perks of being a co-commander was you could have your own place, away from parents and roommates. Oshida and Marie had ones like it, though theirs were on the nicer side of the ship. You set the bag of food down and thought about whether or not to ring the bell. You had a spare key since the two of you were quite close, but you felt unsure of whether or not to use it. I mean, it's not like you were her boyfriend. She gave it to you in case she had left something or needed you to run back and get it for her. Stuff like that, right? You inhaled sharply and pushed the key into the slot and turned it. Quietly and carefully you opened the door to her apartment. It was a mess inside, as usual. Andou wasn't the cleanest girl you'd known. Then again, neither was Oshida. But she was a lot of fun. Andou was a cool girl who didn't mind getting a bit tomboyish. She was down to earth, fairly smart, though not the best with books, and overall a great friend. The perfect girl for you, really, if ever you had a chance with her. You pushed the thoughts aside and closed the door behind you. Andou? You called out as you set the food next to the door. Andou, are you here? It was quiet, but you could faintly hear noise coming from where you seemed to remember Andou's room being. There were only 2 doors next to the kitchenette, her room and the bathroom, and you knew which one was the bathroom from the times that you'd come over. Andou, you asked as you began pushing the door. You looked away as you didn't quite feel comfortable looking into her room since you had never been into it before. What do you want? Asked a muffled voice. You turned to see Andou faintly in the dark, her face stuffed in a pillow. I wanted to see if you were okay, you answered. Why do you care anyway? She asked. Andou, I'm your friend, of course I care, you replied. My friend, she said quietly. Is there something wrong with that? You asked, your heart pounding in your chest. No, she replied. It doesn't even matter. Andou, I just wanted to come by to see that you were okay. Well, I'm not. So there, now you know. You can go now. Maybe go and make out with Oshida or Marie, or hell, why not do 'em both? Muttered Andou, pulling her pink blanket over her head. You sighed and thought about what next to do. It was clear Andou wanted to dismiss you, but you couldn't leave her like this. There were many times that she had helped you in a hard time. Hey, Andou, you said, walking into her room now. Can I ask you something? I don't want to talk about the ramen shop, or Oshida, or what everyone at school is going to say about me, or... No. None of that. You stated as you knelt by her bed. Remember that time you beat me in Dream Tank match? I said... Wait, what? Her face was covered in tears and mucus, but you did your best to not pay attention. You knew that Andou hated being pitied. Yeah, remember I came over and played against you and, well, you kinda kicked my ass? Kind of, said Andou, her competitive spirit coming back into her, though it was clear that she was still upset. Yeah, kind of, you said, egging her on to her more usual self. If you think that was kind of an ass-kicking, I'll show you just how good I've gotten since then, she proclaimed. All right, you want to go? You asked with a smile. Oh, you bet, she stated, smiling as she did so. Let's go then, you replied. Come on, you go wash up and I'll set up the PS4. Wash up? Asked Andou. Yeah, you have some, snot on your face, you replied. Oh, she said before wiping her face on her sleeve. Oops, I guess I'll have to change shirts now too. She laughed as what had been on her face was now on her uniform. The two of you laughed and went your separate ways in her small apartment, herself to the bathroom and yourself to the living room to set up the console.